What up, though? What up, though? How's everybody doing? Tonight I'm with Eve, beautiful Eve, and this time I want you to not just see an ugly old guy. I want you to see a young woman, so you can see, hey, that dynamic. You know, and
Very
Eve, you want to introduce yourself?
well. Peace to you guys. Thank you for coming through to our YouTube stream. This is a first for me with Dr. Winters. I'm very excited to be here. I'm Eve, and I hope maybe I have some things that you might want to check out later. My YouTube is streaming as well, so check me out
Yeah,
there.
yeah. Why don't you talk to them about the juice in case they want to buy some?
Very cool. On my site, just
Mhm.
eveagain.etsy.com or just vegan, but it's not spelled like that. It is spelled just eveagain.etsy.com. We have merch that you might be interested in. We were just talking to Dr. Winters about how Black people have an issue when it comes to healing ourselves. We don't necessarily like to do that work. We like to go to other people who have done the work. My family's done a lot of work to make sure that the herbs that we are providing in our teas work. And as such, if you have an ailment, we probably can help you with that. If you
Do
go
you
to,
do you want to present and go to your site and show it?
I don't know if it's, how do I do that? Let's see.
Okay, go down to okay, go to your site first. Go to
Okay.
your site. Have you got it up on have you got it up yet?
Yes. Let's see.
Oh,
Here we go.
you got it up. Okay, now go to present.
Okay.
And now try to find your and find the site that talks about the uh the juice. Do you
Gotcha.
see it? Press
Actually,
Windows.
hmm,
Press Windows. Then you should
it's
see
not
it.
that. It's the site.
What's that?
The site is not loading.
Oh. Well, we'll let it load. We'll try to come back to that.
Okay, yeah, that would be cool later.
Oh,
Anyway,
or we'll do it next week. But did you want to have any more things you wanted to say?
well, I'm just excited to be here. I think that this is a good conversation to get us started. I know that there's been a lot of controversial thoughts about how this might work. You know, you being an older gentleman and me being my age, but I think our dynamic might give some thoughts for other conversations, and I'd like to continue to have conversations that push the needle and push us forward. So I'm excited to see what we got tonight.
Yeah, I can dig it. Again, you guys know me. I'm that old guy from way back there in the day. But anyway, I'm not gonna pop my eyes tonight. I'm not gonna start talking in tongues because we're not in church. How you doing, JP? Okay, what we're gonna do? We're gonna talk about what is love a state of mind. Let me read a definition. Let me tell you where this came from. Back in the day, when I was teaching at St. Xavier University in Chicago, I taught the introductory linguistics class. Okay, what they did is that it was a bilingual course, and so the students in the course they had to, in a sense, take my linguistic class. And in my linguistic class, I wanted my students to learn the importance of information. How you doing, Jalen? You know, and I wanted my kids, my student, well, they were not my kids, but these were adults. But I wanted them to understand the importance of words and the importance of the meaning of words. And often, what I would do is just, "How you doing, Karen?" And often, what I would do is I would write on the board "love," and I would ask my students, "What is love?" Most of my students were always ladies, so ladies would say, "Love was this, love was that, love was all these beautiful things." And then I would always say, "Now, would somebody take out their phone or take out look and tell me what the definition is?" And often they were surprised because many of the things that they thought love was had nothing to do with love. So before we get started on is love a state of mind, I want to read this definition of love. This is from the Longman Dictionary. Okay, love: to care very much about someone, especially a member of your family or close friend. Number two, to have a strong feeling of caring for and liking someone combined with sexual attraction. Number three, to like something very much or enjoy doing something very much. And four, to have a strong feeling of loyalty to your country or an institution. Okay, those are definitions of love, but as you can imagine, that's not how we feel about love because we have a tendency to want to define love in our own way. What do you think about those definitions, Eve?
I think that they're very superficial, but they're easy for people to relate to because of how we feel inside, butterflies and tingles and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Once you start talking about action, I think that's when people start getting afraid of the definition. It's subjective, and my definition isn't the same as your definition. So, is this even a real thing that we're talking about?
Yeah, and that's one way to look at it. But what I found is that no matter what we do, words, the meaning of a word. How you doing, Sean Parker, Nan Beauty? What we find though is in relationship to words that the meaning of a word never really ends. I remember back in the day, we used to talk about this whole idea of jealousy and envy. Envy is when somebody, in a sense, wants what you have. Jealousy, on the other hand, is when you feel you're going to be replaced by somebody else. What you find is that in most cases we really mix up those definitions, and that when you think about as love, a state of mind. How you doing, our CGI Kid Productions? When you really think about this whole idea, is love a state of mind? Is that if you have a different idea about love, and I have another idea about love, and then the person over there has an additional meaning of love, then that means that what can make love as a unifying factor? I mean, sure, platonic love is real cool because platonic love, you're supposed to love everybody, but that's something that very few of us experience.
That's true. That whole my definition and your definition, I think that is why people don't want to say anything about love. They want to just move through life and not give anything meaning, because once there's a meaning, well, now you're accountable for it, whatever it is. I think that if I have a different definition of love than you, and then we're supposed to love each other, then at some point we would have had a conversation about what that looks like or what it means or what it feels like. And I know those conversations aren't happening as a whole across the group. Maybe here and there.
Let's talk too. How you doing? But when you think about it, though, is that how do we learn love? How do you think we learn love?
The mom is the first teacher, and I've learned that over the course of learning about who we are. And we have many master teachers who talk about the mother being the first teacher. But really, scientifically, I don't think anybody really had to be taught that, because in utero, you're learning from her how she's eating, if she's taking care of herself, what she's listening to, how she's feeling. You're getting all of that, and you have zero choice. And then after you're born, it's another example or lesson of love, because whether she loved herself or not, or took care of herself or not, you're here now, and now she has a decision on if it's going to be her or you. So now it's selfless or selfish. And I think from there, again, it's her, how she's treating your father, if he's there at all, or how those interactions go. It's a lot of examples from her that I think that's where our foundation comes from.
That's a very good idea, but I think that sometimes, though, even though a lot of moms may want to be good moms, everybody doesn't have a good mom. Because I remember back in the day when I met my wife, my wonderful one, when I met her, and I was talking about, I played football in high school, college, all that type of mess. So I told her, I said that every time when I play football, I try to make sure that I think about my mom and I knock the hell out of the guy. My wife said, "What? What are you talking about, Clyde?" I said, "Well, I was just thinking about my mother." But see, I always felt that my mother didn't love me. I always felt my mother didn't love me because my father, he was light skinned, he had gray eyes, and he had everything that women liked, And I felt that my mother rejected me. It was 10 of us, and I felt that my mother rejected me because of the fact that my father was a hoe. He couldn't help himself. I mean, it was the women's fault. I mean, he had no control over that. You laugh. What are you laughing about?
Well, look, is the 10 from her or the 10's from him? Where's the 10?
It had to come. It had to come from the women. It was outside women. You know, they made him do it.
Yeah, of course, he couldn't help it.
He couldn't help it. He wasn't just a natural hoe.
Black men don't cheat.
That's right. Oh, he cheated his ass off. But the whole point is this: is that I felt that my mom didn't love me, and so when you say in a sense that your mom provides this love, sometimes it's very difficult. I think you brought up a very important thing because you said that you did bring up. What about that relationship with the mom with the father? What is that all about? I think that plays an important role.
Of course. And then even in my definition, it's not all roses, right? I think that how she's treating herself, you know, if she's selfish, then maybe she's not worried about what you have going on or what the household has going on. So now you're learning self-love through her, and then you know that might be a put off for you. Or if she's always doting on him and not paying any attention to you, well, now you're learning service, but again, that might put you off because you're not getting any of the benefit of the act. So I definitely think that she is your first teacher, whether it's good or bad. But
okay.
She treats him. First, some of them are not even around, so that's huge. And then if he is around, I know a lot of us were reared to be strong, independent, you know, so now we have to be strong and independent and cooperative. I don't even know if those things make sense together.
They don't make sense in a way. But, you know, Jalen says the heart of chakra is associated with unconditional love, compassion, empathy, and forgiveness. So I believe this is where we get these certain, you know, emotions from. And I think you're right, but I think empathy is very hard. Empathy is very hard because you brought up a very important point. Because I feel there's a lot of baby mamas. You know, like my grandson and some of his generation. He's 26. You know, people 30 and under, they don't feel they should marry a baby mama. Now my sons, a couple of them married baby mamas. And they're happy, One of them's been married about 20 some years, the other one about 10 or 11. So you know, they're happy. But the thing is, that people forget that the average baby mother was in love. She thought she was in love, and I believe she was in love. But see, our problem is this: is that when I go back to thinking about my mom, I feel that my wife really taught me how to love, because it was through my love of her that I learned, in a sense, how to love others, you see. Because see, you know, as a man, when you grow up, you're always thinking about strength. You're always thinking about power. My father did construction work. And so I always saw a man as being someone who was supposed to be powerful, someone who's supposed to be a leader, and most of all, someone who is supposed to be strong, you know. See, I hated the fact, in a sense, that your woman knows she makes you feel weak.
You said in the baby mom's relationship, the woman makes the man feel weak. Is that what you were saying?
No, the baby mom, she just loves. She's full of love. And see, the problem we have is that growing up in a Western culture, our women never feel loved. Our moms rarely feel love. Our grandmas rarely feel loved. You know what I mean? Hell, my grandma, you know, like sometimes when a lot of times, when Tarika, she is talking about roots and all that type of stuff. Well, my grandma, because of the fact that one of the other women in the town, like my grandfather, she fixed my grandmother. My grandmother, she I guess they gave her too much food. They put something up under the steps, and what happened, in a sense, is that she had to move out of the South up to Chicago. See, so then I don't really believe in root doctors and all that type of stuff, because I know you can have good and bad magic. I know you young ladies don't think about that. Like when I was raising my sons, I always told them, don't eat any spaghetti. Don't go to the girls' house and eat spaghetti because they might put their minstrel in the spaghetti to try to control you. And so I know that maybe, maybe that was something that I was taught because my mom came from Mississippi, and but I don't know what ladies do. But then you see, it's very important to understand that because the baby mama is in love, because the baby mama, even though her mom told her to be strong, because the baby mama falls in love, then therefore, in a sense, she leaves herself open and vulnerable.
Yeah.
And after you become vulnerable, I think it makes many Black women get more tighter after that.
I agree. If you're going through life just feeling, that is going to make you very jaded very quickly, especially if, the feelings are fleeting, as they are. That when you were reading the definitions of love, it always was coming back to, how something makes you feel. But if you go to the mall and you want to buy some shoes and they make you feel pretty, and then you go to Chipotle and you want to, I don't know. I just feel like there's a lot of different things that we can feel that you might not feel next week. Maybe you don't want Mexican next week at all. Like can't.
But
do
you
that.
loved it this week.
You really loved it. There's
Yeah.
people who can't get through a whole year with, one jacket or, one type of something because now we need variety. I like that, but I also like that. And then we try to take that definition and put it on a person. And now we're back into the superficial, shallow existence of, I feel like this could do something, but, I might feel like something later and that should be okay. And it's not.
Go travel abroad. How you doing? You're absolutely right, Eve, because when you think back, when you really think back to, to that love experience when you really first fell in love with somebody, and it puts a little tingle in you. It makes you feel, a little excited. I think that's why some men and women can't really ever be satisfied because they keep looking for that feeling.
They chase that. That's an addiction though.
And you can't get it though. You can't
They
get
don't
it
want
all
to say
the time.
that crackheads for love, Dr. Winters.
Yeah, but it's hard. It's hard to retain that because see, the point is this: is that as you were talking about a feeling about this, a feeling about that. It's just like when I used to talk to my students, that make them understand the word is that if love is I love that purse, I love that pair of shoes. If you've noticed over the years, I always wear blue because I love the color blue. But the point is this: is that is that love enough? You see, and then you brought up another thing when you brought up, in a sense, that example of food is that yes, a lot of times we feel that okay, I love Chipotle today. I might want some steak and potato tomorrow. But the thing is, this is that but is love so fleeting because we want more than that. We want more than that experience. You see, and as a woman and a man, we see love differently. You see, I remember when I was talking to women, girls over the years, and so when I'll give you an example. When I met my wife, she was 16. She was 16, and I said, so I told her, I said, I don't believe in love. And she said, what do you mean? I said, I don't believe in love. I said, the love is never having, they always say love is never having to say you're sorry.
Right.
You always hurt the one you love and things like that. So I said, I don't believe in love. I said, I'd rather you respect me than to love me, because if I respect you and you respect me, I had game, If I respect you and you respect me, then therefore, in a sense, that'll last longer than love. And so she said, well, I disagree. I said, well, how many guys have you loved? I had 5 boyfriends. I said, did you love them? Yeah, I loved them. I said, see, you said you loved each one of those 5 guys, but where are they at now? You see, see, I said, I'm here now. And the point is this, is that if you go through this whole process of love is not enough. Love is not enough. But see, when you're a woman, or even some men, as a woman, you feel love is enough. But you've been taught by your mama, number one, hold your skirt down. Don't let them get up under that dress. And number two, they always tell the black woman to be strong. And I think that's the worst thing that they can tell a woman.
I agree. And that's straight out of slavery, right? You know, because we had to do the same roles. We had to pick the same amounts. There was no slack given because I birthed a child yesterday. It's just, you know, get back to work. And then we take that because you can feel invincible. That's the word. You can feel like you can conquer anything when people start putting that battery in your back that, you know, you are a superwoman, and then we burn out. So then going back to what you said about how the black woman has been vulnerable, and the black woman who's the baby mom is extra vulnerable because she's kind of just been living on these feelings that go. And then what if she's chasing those feelings because she felt good once? And then I know I can get back there, but people don't necessarily want to think about love as something that they can be addicted to because it's not enough, like you just said. I think I want to say I learned a long time ago that love was work. Love is myrrh. And when I heard that, it made sense, because if you want something or if you love something, then you would work to try to attain it. You would try to get it. You would try to keep it. But now that I'm thinking about what you just said about your wife and all the guys that came before you that she loved, I wonder if you had asked her if she respected any of them, you know, what the answer would have been. And then from there, you lasted 50 years. So maybe there's something there.
Yeah, but that was because the fact is that I convinced her that you had to take each day at a time. And see, I wanted my wife. Okay, because of the fact I was a kid, and so I had an older sister. And so by me having an older sister, what happened in a sense is that I was always the test dummy. Okay, CGI Kid said love is supposed to be strong, true, succinct, and honest. Not just a trying to use a woman and a woman trying to use a man for sex. Sex is in love. I'm 21 years old, and even I know that. But see, that's the whole point, is that one of the definitions that I read says that love is sex. So this is very important. But the point is this, is that when you're thinking about this thing, you don't understand that love is constructive. You see, when I was young, I was a test dummy. So I always had my sister, you know, she was a teenager. So her friends would come over and they would use me as a kissing dummy. They wouldn't be tongue kissing or nothing like that, you know. But they would be kissing all on me and all that type of stuff. Oh, you're so cute. And so I grew up with a bad attitude, but luckily I didn't let it force me to become what's called a gash man. What I call by a gash man. How you doing? Go travel abroad. How you doing, Bruce? What I call a gash man is the man that just goes around just use girls all the time. And see, but I could have did that because I knew that women, they liked me because of the fact that they said I was cute. They said I had pretty eyes. And so the thing is this, because they said this meant in a sense that I could use people if I wanted to. And see, that's the whole objective, is that, see, a lot of girls, a lot of women, they don't understand when you always shower so much adoration, when you always shower so much attention to a man, a lot of times, in a sense, what you can do is that you can make that man forget, in a sense, that you're a human being. And instead of seeing the woman or the girl as a human being, we may see her as an object. And a lot of this comes from our uncles and our dad. You know what I mean? The first thing, girls mature faster. I mean, you have your period. Nowadays, I had a period at 8 or 12 years old. But the point is this, is that back in my day, the average girl had a period around 15 or 16, you know. And so then they had their periods a little later. But the point is this, is that once you have your period, you know, a period makes you want to, in a sense, go out, and it makes you want to go out, and it makes you want to have sex, because that's what you have a period for. That egg drops once a month. That's going to get your hormones clicking, and you say, hey, I want to have some sex so I can make a baby. Go travel abroad said, I don't know that love is experienced in a universal way. If we go God matter, romantic love looks so many ways. That's what I think. Good. You're right, and that's what Eve said earlier. Love does look in different ways. But the point is this, is that when you're always showering on a man that he's somebody when you're making a man feel in a sense that you need him more than he needs you, I think it sometimes makes us become jaded.
Mm.
It makes you jaded in a way. I don't know. What do you think?
Do you think it's because it's not special anymore? Like if you keep hearing the same accolades over and over and over again, well, now you expect it. Or like we talked about, Chipotle, a sweater, some boots, Busch Gardens, and traveling to Tahiti could all have been things that I loved. And I don't know if we're supposed to be identifying those feelings with the same word that we would associate with a person that makes us want to move. And I think that, well, I guess as we've been having this conversation, I think that love, when it comes to people, is a feeling that makes you move. You said you wanted your wife. Well, you had to do something to get her. People who want what they want, they go out and get it. And I think love is probably the same way, even when we're talking about, superficial things, like things that could change every week. But maybe we should start defining those things as something else so that people really feel it when we say it. And then, what was I going to say? I guess it goes back to the 5 boyfriends before you. If she felt the same about everybody, well, it makes you different. And if you don't feel different, then maybe you would be jaded.
Yeah. And see, but that's the whole point, is that it's conditioning. It's conditioning. You said something very important in relationship to that. We see love as a feeling. That's one of the reasons why I think that love is a state of mind, because you can have any type of feeling you want. You can have all types of feelings. But the point is this, is that because of slavery, during slavery, as you said, you had to work as hard as the man worked. You see, nobody respected you. And in fact, you got beat more on the plantation than the man, because a lot of times, in the sense is that they wanted to just crush. To me, the white man has always seen that to really destroy the black family, you have to destroy the black woman. And the way you destroy the black woman is that you take away everything from her. And see, they took away the ability. They took away the ability of a woman to be able, in a sense, to be herself. You see, because see, most of the time, it's very difficult. Like I remember, in a sense, is that when I was growing up, you had girls on the west side and girls on the south side. The south side girls, they used to always keep their hair pretty, and they were all prim and proper. Girls on the west side, they was kind of country, like they looked like they didn't understand about the world. And so then, they say, Clyde, let's have a baby. I don't want to have a baby. What I want to have a baby for? Well, I mean, hey, we could just do this. But the thing is, this is that's what they thought, or that's how they came. But see, the whole point is this, is that because of the slave experience, black women, in a sense, did not ever develop the ability to really, in a sense, experience love. Let me explain to you. The average black woman, yes, they want to be loved. Yes, they say they love their man, and whatever. But the point is this, is that they can't never really experience love, because they've been conditioned by their mamas and grandmothers that they had to be strong, you see. And because of the fact that they had to be strong, they don't understand that as being a woman that's strong, you make it easy for a man to leave you.
That makes sense, because if you can do it, what's he here for?
That's right.
I get that. And you can't have 2 captains of a ship. You can't have 2 drivers in a car. I know that I hate backseat drivers.
Yeah.
Hate it. So I'd rather just not drive. Like at this point, I can work the auxiliary and the weather in the car, and then you can get us there.
But
go ahead.
But it's complicated. It's complicated because, see, as I said, a white woman, because of the fact that they're thought of as a piece of shit by their men, they know, in a sense, that they're going to be treated badly. They expect to be treated badly. They expect, in a sense, that the man is going to always dominate them and try to run them. So that's why they had feminism. But as a black woman, you want to relax. You don't want to always be on guard. You don't always want to be you want to be present, but you don't want to always be on guard. And see, the thing is, this is that a lot of people, I get in debates, with different folk, and they talk about feminism, and they say that feminism ruined the black woman. Or was it feminism? The thing that ruined the black woman was, in a sense, their mom, because their mom taught them, don't trust the man. You always got to make sure that you're working. You always got to make sure that you're on top of your game, because if you're not on top of your game, then he's going to leave you. He's going to use you, and he's going to, in a sense, make you feel bad. But see, look at the movies. In the movies, you always have two types of women. You have the woman with black hair, and you have the woman with blonde hair. Mm-hmm. The woman with black hair, she's always strong. She's always ready, in a sense, to I love him, but she's better for him. The blonde hair. And then the blonde lady, she's weak. The blonde lady is dainty. She's all that type of stuff. And the black-haired woman, she gives up her man for the blonde woman, and then she goes and she suffers alone. And see, that's what you have with black women, is that because black women are always waiting to be hurt, because black women always feel, in the sense, that they can't trust their man, then it allows the man to say, hey, I can quit you easily, you see? See, remember, most men never say they quit you. We just stopped calling.
I mean, that's definitely a good way to make your point clear. But you're saying things that need to be said. If you can, the 50-50 conversation that keeps coming up, or, like we talked about earlier, your wife didn't have to work. People think that, well, I bring this to the table, so I should get X, Y, Z. And at the end of the day, I think that women, black women, we need to take a step back and think about what you just said. Like, how do we want things to be? And how I want things to be, I'd love to exist in my feminine 100% of the time, but probably not safe. Might need to put my guard up sometimes. Maybe I'm not just friendly with everybody because it just feels good. I'm not just going through life feeling how I want to feel because, I'm a woman and I'm feeling. But in the same breath, if that is how I am, then you would need to pair up with a man who's going to protect that, because this is very dangerous. Somebody's going to do something to you because you're so open and because you're so available.
Maybe.
And if you're not paired up with someone who wants to protect that, well, now you're exposed and open. So maybe you completely shut that side off shut that side of you off because you don't have the protection. Not that you don't want that, not that you don't want to feel that, but you don't have it. And if you don't have it, then you got to work with what you got. And if what you got is your degree and your job and bills and the mortgage, well, that's what they lead with. And then they might be alone. Maybe they have some cats. I don't know.
How you doing, Lindy? How you doing, Zachary? But see, that's not. It's not always as hard as you think. See, the basic thing is that to me, I think that most women don't understand is that you have to give yourself agency, and the way you give yourself agency is that in your relationship with your man, what you have to do, you have to set your limits. You have to set your boundaries. And see, most of the time, most women don't feel in the sense that they should set boundaries. You see, when most women, in a sense, meet a man, they tiptoe around the guy, and they don't understand that in a relationship, you should be developing a relationship that's based upon friendship, and because it's based upon friendship, what will happen, in a sense, is that you can explore and you can get to that man's mind. But see, most of the time, most women feel, in a sense, that it's not about getting to that man's mind. It's about, in a sense, being able to have this man to want to be sexually attracted to you as a woman. And because you feel, in a sense, that if they're sexually attracted to you, then therefore they'll stay with you. But see, most women in good relationships, that woman is a woman who will tell her man, you better not fuck up or I'll kick your ass. And they can be little bitty ladies too. And you could be 7 or 8 feet tall. But because of the fact, in the sense that they demand respect. But see, the whole point is this, is that most of the time, people listen to Kevin Samuels. Okay, Jalen, she says, well, it can be difficult for a black woman who is taking care of everything, and you're using your masculine energy more often than your feminine energy, and that can cause a mental battle. In a way, it can cause a mental battle. But the point is this: is that the problem is that you've been conditioned. Your daddy tell you this. Listen to this. It's your daddy tell you, Clyde, you got to watch out for that sci-fi. Don't let him tell you what to do. And so then a lot of times the man, in a sense, when he's dealing with his woman, you see, if a woman starts to talk, then they'll say, hey, you're acting like you're my mama. And then, and then, but the woman should say, I'm not your mama, I'm your woman.
Right.
I'm your lady, you see. See, most of the time women make one mistake. How you doing, Richard? Richard, Timbo, what up, though? Russell, Amir, how you guys doing? A lot of times what women do is that what women fail to understand is that you want to get to that man's mind. Remember, as a woman, everything with you is mental. Since everything with you is mental, that's why a woman can have a man. He can't hardly make love at all. I mean, he might be a 2-minute man. But later, if they get together, he might become more understanding. Yeah, he is a 2-minute man, but you'll stay with him because the fact is that he gives you a feeling. As you said, he gives you a feeling.
That's true. And we'll chase that feeling as long as it's coming, right? And as long as it's safe and we get to operate in that femininity that I was talking about, that's a safe place. And then maybe we can be love. I think that when I was talking about the mom being the first teacher of this feeling we're talking about, maybe the Black woman is supposed to show love, and then people learn from that. But like Jalen was saying, it's hard to do both when you have to lead with one. But I would ask Jalen, why does she feel like she has to lead with her masculine energy? But maybe she's in a job where she has to, female police officers or female head chefs and restaurants. Some of these male-dominated industries might make you feel like you got to put on your pants and get to work.
My daughter's a police officer, and I can tell you she's very feminine, But the point is this: is that it's you leave with your masculine energy because your mom told you to be strong. Like my son, he's what? He's 54, 50. He'll be 54 this year. And so my son, when he got out the Navy, I said, what's your line when you meet a woman? He said, the first thing I say to a woman when I meet her is, where you working at? And I said, damn, well, wait, what is it? But that was it because you guys, your generation is kind of a transactional relationship because most of the time, you're not going to make it a day with just one person working, See, I could make it back in the day. I mean, back in when I graduated from high school and I went to college, $2 an hour was good. Now, who can live off that today? You can't even live off $25 an hour today. And so then, but see, because of the fact that the Black woman has always you've always had to play the masculine person because you've always been left with your children. Remember, even on the plantation, is that often, in a sense, the average man wouldn't marry a woman on his plantation. Therefore, in a sense, often his wife would be on another plantation. That way, he didn't have to see her being abused, didn't have to see her being raped, and he didn't have to see her being embarrassed. You see, so Black women have always been stuck with their children. But see, the thing that most women don't understand is, as I said, Black women, in a sense, women, period, they're moved off the mental. But what many women fail to do is that they fail to make their man talk. Because see, this is it. If you make your man talk, see, most women feel like nowadays, most women feel if they can have intercourse with you and blow your mind, then you'll be submissive. But then a lot of times, in a sense, and that's why a lot of times you start with a lot of sex, and then once you two get to know each other, then it's no more hardly sex.
Right.
But see, that's not good enough because you can always have sex with somebody. But see, women who are able to build up strong relationships, they make that man talk to them because see, if you make your man talk to you, he's going to have to let you inside.
Mm-hmm.
And see, most men do not, you've been out there long enough to know that most men do not want to talk. They don't want to talk. They want to play that silent role, but they're just playing that role because they know that if you make them really, really talk to you, then you're going to get in their mind.
Mm-hmm.
That's why when I was growing up, I learned that the girl who was supposed to be the fast girl, the girl was supposed to be the fast girl, the girl was supposed to be always having sex with people. She wasn't having sex with nobody. But the point is that it was a girl who fell in love who ended up with a baby, whereas the so-called fast girl didn't end up with a baby. And down the road, they might have a good relationship. Mm-hmm. And the reason that they did this is that they made men work. See, remember, today they're talking about who's the prize. That's all bullshit. They talk about what do you bring to the table? What do you bring to the table? And the whole point is this, that's crazy to me. It's crazy to me because I feel that all a woman has to bring to the table is to make me happy and to make me want her, you see.
Right.
Whereas in a sense, Kevin Samuels was saying, okay, you got to get a higher order man. You got to get a man $100,000, and you had to know how to treat this. When you get 35, you hit the wall, and then all that type of mess. But then he ends up dying, having sex with a Spanish woman. Get the hell out of here. You see, you're laughing, but my father, when I was growing up, my father, about three or four of his friends, they died the same way, having sex with a young woman. But the point is that so he was a hypocrite. But the point is that Kevin Samuels said a lot of good stuff. But the thing he didn't tell women is that if you want to have a good relationship with a man, because as I said earlier, is love a state of mind? We've already established the fact that love is feelings. Mm-hmm. We already established the fact that love has different interpretations based upon the person. So then, therefore, in a sense, maybe if we're engaged in a relationship, maybe we shouldn't talk about love. Mm-hmm. Maybe we should get some other thing to talk about. I don't know. What do you think about that?
That's a good point. Essentially, the love part is that tingly thing that everybody feels. So we already got that. We feel tingly about each other. But yes, there are so many other things that we need to be talking about if this is something that's real or something lasting, something that we want to extend into the future. Kevin Samuels. Yeah, I think he said a lot of things that make sense. But, sometimes people live their life one way because nobody's going to check them on it, so as long as they get to tell everybody what works and it's something that makes sense. Well, now
but
people have that.
It didn't work for him. He was divorced 2 or 3 times. So right. But I love Kevin Samuels. My man is O'Shea Duke Jackson, and my daughter, if I even mention his name, she'll get out of here. God, you're not my father. Leave me alone. Let's see. But that's my daughter. She has, but some of the things are good. But see, it goes back to what Harvey said. A woman think like a woman, act like a woman, think like a man, or something.
Yeah. See,
no. What it is that you get your man, you make that man, in a sense, communicate with you. Because I guarantee you, if you family, listen to me, family. I don't care how old you are as a woman. I don't care how young you are as a woman. If you make the man that you're interested in, the man who is interested in you, make him talk to you, get into his mind, because see, if you try to make a man talk to you, you're not gonna have to worry about him sticking around because he's gonna get some hat. He's gonna get out of town because see, the thing is this is that. Yes, because see, you had to make him feel. See, if as long as you can make a man not feel. If you're an independent woman, okay, if independent woman, it's easy to quit an independent woman. Mm-hmm. Why is it easy to quit an independent woman? What do you think makes them easy to quit?
Because she got it all. She can do it. What she need me for? That's
right. Not only that, she's got it all, but at the same time, in a sense, it allows you to not feel guilty.
Oh, that's even a better point because she didn't need you. You were just a piece of meat to her. I'm sorry to tell you. But I want to touch on making.
Let me keep that thought. Go Travel Abroad said, I agree. Boundaries is a process of many Black women, and mothers didn't teach or learn it. Think it's a shadow work journey. I think that's interesting. But go ahead.
Making your man talk, or making the man talk. Like you said, men are not necessarily going to be so talkative. So if you can make him talk, well, now you've shown him that you're interested in him. And if you can show him that you're paying attention to him, well, now he's interested in you, because not only did you make him step outside of himself and start communicating in a way that he wouldn't before, because if you weren't there, he'd probably just be quiet or talk to somebody else about something else. But now you're showing him that action, and maybe it's not love just yet, but it is going somewhere.
You're building up what? A friendship.
Yeah, a friendship, like you said. And maybe y'all don't be best friends, so maybe this isn't the person that you end up with. But I think that practice of communicating is needed. We're missing that. And then you find that person that gets you all tingly, and you don't even know how to talk to them because you never did it before. So
because maybe the tingly is not so good. You see, because the point is this, is that the tingly feeling is good, and you get that, maybe once or twice. But see, the whole point is this, is that I think that in a relationship, you have to think about what is the future. How you doing, chemistry? How you doing, chemistry, Black Magic, Amir Laster? How you guys doing? But you have to also think about the fact that since love is a feeling, or love is a state of mind, then maybe in a sense we have to try to find another term. We maybe had to find another term to define our relationship. Maybe we had to find another term, instead of love. Because see, maybe when we're saying love, which is so beautiful, love has so much endearing things. When I was growing up, my mom, if my sisters fell down and they skinned their knee, my mom said, "Oh, come here, baby, let me kiss that." If I fell down, get your ass over there. You got to be a man. Be a man. Be a man. Shit, I'm 4, 5, 6 years old.
It hurts,
I don't want to be a man. But I understand now. You see, is that I remember once, and I've told this story many times. I was talking to my grandma, and I got out of college. I graduated with a BA and MA. I only went to school for 4 years, and only went to summer school once, but I came out with 2 degrees.
Nice.
So then I was going to I was telling my grandma, I said to my uncle, I said to my cousin, I said, he won't help me get a job. He's working for the Urban League. I said, he won't help me get a job. And him and Edward, that was my older brother, Mr. Ed. I said, they always keep saying I'm Black Power, so they can't help me get a job because I'm Black Power, and I'll embarrass them. And so my grandma said, okay. Said, are you done yet? I said, yes. I said, don't you ever whine to me again. She said, you're a Black man. Said, a Black man never whine. I said, you're my grandmama. I said, you're supposed to listen to me. Anything I ask you for, you give me. Why are you telling me this? She said, because you're a damn Black man. You're a man, boy. I do not like no whining ass, simpy ass man. So you better never whine again. Do you hear me? And so then I was really hurt. But I understood, because as I got older, I understood why my mother told me to be a man. I understood why my grandmama told me not to be a whining person, because as a man, you have to always carry a front. How could I go tell my sons, hey gang, I can't get a job because the white man holding me back? Then they would have said, what the hell is this? You had to show strength. And see, this is what I'm talking about, that strength thing, as opposed to in a sense, the other stuff, See, my wife was the type of person, when we got married, I said, well, we're going to take one step at a time. We're going to do X, Y, Z, and we're going to do this or that. And then she said, okay, you said what you wanted to say. I said, yes. She said, well, this is my rule. She said, if you cheat on me, don't never ask me, don't never say you're sorry, and don't never ask me to forgive you, because it's not going to be the same. I said, no. I said, that's not fair. I said, my daddy cheated. Your daddy cheated. They're all Virgos. Virgos love to cheat.
Men don't cheat.
Virgos cheat their ass off. Virgo men cheat their ass off. I'm just telling you. So then I said, but that's not fair. I said that your mom accepted your father being a cheater. My mother accepted my father being a cheater, my grandmother. She said, well, I won't accept that shit. And she said, so if you cheat, it's not going to be the same. Don't never ask me for forgiveness. You see? And so I said, what the hell is this? What the hell is this? That's not fair. But the point is this, is that, as I told you, you have to set your boundaries. See, a lot of times when we're in a relationship, because love is a state of mind, in my opinion, because of the fact in the sense that we're trying to find this love. See, we're trying to find love instead of trying to develop a relationship. See, you know, I've had girls that I was friends with, and you've got guys that you were friends with. When that guy became your friend, you never crossed your mind to have sex with them. If they were your friend, it never crossed your mind. And the guy knows that if he tries to really go that direction, it ain't gonna happen.
Yeah, right.
Because you're friends. See, but see, what we forget is that in terms of developing our relationships, we forget that our companion, the person who we claim we love, that love is just a word, and so we have to define another thing. I think that a better word for what we're looking for is not love. The word that we're looking for, I think, is a partnership. I think that when we think about, in a sense, a partnership, you know, you got to think about, in a sense, the whole idea of being partners. See, sharing. You know, I remember when I was younger, and my wife, I mean, we got a rocking chair because we had 5 boys and 1 girl. And so in the middle of the night, the babies wake up and stuff. And then, to put them to sleep, you get in your rocking chair, And then after a while, sometimes if your wife is breastfeeding, she want to put that little monster in the damn bed with you and mess with your breasts. Those are mine. What are you doing? What are you doing? Nah. Those are mine.
You got evicted for a little while.
I told my wife, I said, I knew you first. Wait, what is this? Why is that little creature on my breast? No. But you know what? It teaches you discipline. See, because the whole point is this, is that nowadays, sex is not going to last forever. It's not going to last forever. And if you've ever been through some trying times, if you've ever been through some times when you had to really, when you were really troubled, you don't even want to have any sex because you're thinking about how do we eat, how do we pay bills, and things like that, And that's very important, And this is the whole point, is that we have to think about, like now Amir, now he knows what to say to a lady. My line is, I dream him up. Yes, you dream about her. He's old school. He understands is that you make that woman feel nice. Don't ask him about the damn job. But my son, he found
0 to 100.
Yeah, he found a nice wife. Like my son, his wife, she I love the hell out of my oldest son's wife, because I was having problems with my garbage disposal unit in the sink. She works in the post office. She came over, she took out my garbage disposal and then fixed it up. Yeah, that's the type of woman I need.
Handy.
But the point is this, is that she's a very handy woman. But she said, the reason I married your son is this, is that I heard him around in the sense, the post office. They both worked at the same post office back then, and he was talking about his mama, and she said that he said when he talked about his mama, she felt that maybe she could go with him. So she said she had to talk to him. So then sometimes you do have to step up. But the point is this, though, is that her mother in a sense tried to tell him don't marry her, don't be with her, because her mother, I guess she was said that she had a lot of bad credit, and and she used to like to shop too much. And so that was her mother telling my son this. But they've been married over 20 some years, so they get along. But the point is this, though, is that it's finding something more than that tingly feeling. Because that tingly feeling, it doesn't last. And see, when you're trying to move away from this whole idea that love is a state of mind, you see, when you understand in a sense that love is more than a state of mind, see, you expect more out of love than what the definition can provide, right?
Right. That's true. I like what you were saying about the partnership. Like maybe we should be moving in that direction, because then, I mean, even biologically, it means that we're not supposed to be out here by ourselves. We're social, we're human, and as such, you know, we're familial. We make families, and once you've accepted that this is not just for you by yourself, you know, that there is someone out here who is going to work with you, or someone who's going to be able to, you know, y'all can partner up together, then that's something that can last. But that tingly feeling, I think maybe we should have it reserved for some environments, right? Like, you know, feel tingly. That's great that y'all have that chemistry. And then after the 5 minutes or hour or whatever amount of time, you've got the rest of the day, right? What are we doing here? And if it's only about chasing that tingly feeling, well, maybe that's not somebody that you would want to partner with.
But
Because
it could be somebody you want to partner with, but you can't expect it all the time. Chemistry Black Magic said, I struggle. I really love black women more than they know nowadays, you know. And then, you know, Amir, back in the, you know, this is the way it was back in the day, Amir, that long talk over the phone. It don't stop.
Yeah.
And see, the thing is this, that we don't have this. Oh, I'm coming over your house to see you. And then you feel, you know, I was looking at this thing the other day, and so this woman, she had on a see-through suit, and then, you know, she was wearing you know, a very sexy garment that you wear in the bedroom, you know. And so, but she's going to talk to this guy, and this was on a dating show, and they actually said, why? They said, she said, what would our first date be like? And he said, well, our first date would be, I would take you to my apartment, and then after we do the do, I'll take you out in any way you want to eat at. So she said, what are you talking about? I'm not that type of woman. But she didn't understand it. By her presenting herself, by her wanting to get that attention, she made him get the wrong idea. And I think that this is the problem, you know?
Oh, it's a huge problem. In the age of social media, where you can look at the pages that get all the clicks, and then you want to emulate that because you want the attention. And some of those people are not even real. Like, they're straight AI created accounts, and they're getting all of this traction. And then people are wanting to do that, and they're chasing a dream, essentially. And then now they don't feel good about themselves because they can't get there. And
then
they didn't have to do all of that.
That's right. And then it's crazy. And so then, you know, like when I was in college, and so when I was in college, I didn't, you know, my wife was in Chicago when I was in college my first year. And so, you know, you got all these women in a sense that they're having sex with you. And the thing is, this is that you start to say, what is this all about? I remember, you know, a girl, I was kind of lame at first. So when I first got to college, I was in this girl's room. And so then she started undressing. I said, damn, hurry up. We want to go to the party. I was dumb. I didn't understand then. But by October, I knew. And so then you got these women in a sense.
2 months.
They're having sex with you. And the thing is, this is that you go to fraternity. I never joined a fraternity because I had two things. I was handsome, I played football, and I could dance.
Hey.
I could dance. And when you could dance back in the day, and you make a woman look good, we make a girl look cool on the dance floor, and everybody's looking at her, she gets good attention. So that was cool. So I go to these parties at the fraternities and sororities, and these girls I was seeing pouring out drinks into the plant. And then later in the sense, they'd be going upstairs with somebody. And then the next day they would say, what happened last night? I was drunk. You didn't get drunk. But they would say that stuff. And then, you know, they had sex with somebody. So you start not to value. You start not to value sex because, see, remember, the most precious thing that a woman has is to, in a sense, two things. Is one, it used to be precious if you could have an intercourse with a woman. That was very precious, you see. And then the second thing, and what I think is the most precious thing that a woman can give you is children. You know, that's what I feel. Because, see, now, when I was younger, in a sense, it was 10 of us. And because it was 10 of us, I always knew that I would have children. But I understand now that my wife did not have to give me one child because she could always get birth control, or I could have a prophylactic or whatever, you see. And so then I thank my wife for giving me children, because now my children talk to me, and they are calling to maybe borrow money, but sometimes they're not borrowing money because I don't have that much. But the thing is, this is that they call me, they talk to me, they come and visit me. I visit them. And so then I say to myself, damn, that was wonderful that my wife didn't have to give me those children. See, just like you have your children. And many men don't understand is that is a wonderful thing, because see, it's not just your future. Your children, in a sense, can show you so much love. And see, that's the whole problem, is that we don't understand. And so there I go, using that silly ass word, didn't I? I said love.
That's that feeling. We're conditioned.
Yes, but the point is, this is that. And so then when I say that, it's important to me. But I think I had to learn that love, because I had to understand, in the sense that my wife, she had already told me, you go ahead and cheat on me. You see, you go cheat on me, fine. You see. But I learned early in life is that, hell, a lot of times you can't even hardly satisfy one woman. How are you going to satisfy two or three? You see, but as I said before, if a woman in a sense admires you, it doesn't matter if you're able, in a sense, to give them one orgasm or 24 orgasms. It doesn't matter, because the point is, this is their relationship. But see, when you're thinking about being a partner, it's the things that a partnership encompasses. Like you, what do you think a partner is, Eve? What is a partner?
I think a partner is someone who helps you get the job done. You'd have to decide, what it is that we're doing. And then from there, we learn about partners when we're in school. You have group work, pair up with the person sitting next to you. And now we both have the responsibility of finishing this task. That's everybody's first negative experience, is getting in that group and that person who doesn't want to do the work, but they're getting the benefit of the rest of the group doing the work. And I mean, I get that. Now we've got the strong, independent, little Jackie. We're going to call her Jackie. She's learned that people are getting benefits from not doing any work, and she's always worked hard. So she feels good about doing a job well done. So now she's only looking for people who are going to match that energy.
But then you got Jackie, but you got that other Jackie. You got that Jackie that she's going to do that project. She knows that they're full of ish, that she's going to do a separate project. I don't know.
She wants to get that grade.
Yeah.
That Jackie said, no, my grade's not going to go down because that person's not doing the work. I'm going to go above and beyond. I think that partnership, it starts with the communication that you were talking about. People are not talking about what it is that we're doing, because I don't think that there's anything wrong with having sex because it feels good. If that's what you want to do, great. Right. But it should be communicated up front between who all is involved. From there, I'm sorry. Real quick about the dress. The woman that you were talking about, she was dressed very provocatively and then confused about why that's what the man wanted. I think that how you meet somebody, you only get one chance to make a first impression. Right. And then from there, everything else is you're trying to catch back up or to replace the bad thing that happened, when you could just meet them honestly the first time. You don't have to put on an air. You don't have to front to kick it. People just need to be who they say they are. And
that's complicated. It's complicated. It's very complicated to be you. See, I learned that when I was in high school. When I was in high school, okay, there I was. I'm on the football team. I'm the handsome guy. All the girls like me, but everybody made up who I was. Let me. Okay,
like the girls who like me, personality or aspects of you make up you, right?
No, it wasn't any aspect of me. It was how they saw me.
Oh,
see, people just like. See, when people meet you, people, in a sense, they make a decision on who you are. Mm-hmm. They make a decision on what you are, what you like, and what you do. You see, and so then the thing that made me really learn to love my wife was that my wife made me have to really talk about me. She made me not only talk about me, but made me examine why are you playing football thinking about hitting your mother? Why are
Mm.
you doing this? You see, are you going to start whooping my ass? You're going to
Right,
hurt me?
right. That's a
You know,
very natural secession of that
right.
thought.
My daughter used to say, "Damn!" My daughter used to say, "Damn! If I'd have been mama and met your ass, you would not have been my husband, because I would have thought you was going to be hitting on me." But see, that's because the fact, in a sense, is that she allowed me to be me. And see,
Mm,
as a woman, you always have these projections. But every time you meet somebody, everybody know who Eve is. And anybody that listens to Twitter, oh, Eve is, oh yeah, Eve is that sacrificing woman. Yeah, Eve is the one who's always getting people to come together. Yeah, Eve is Eve. You don't know who the hell Eve is, but you made a decision, and this is what people do, Eve. And this
mm,
is what makes it hard for us to really generate, in a sense, relationships, because we don't really allow each other to be who we are. You
mm,
see, you may be any one of those things, but that's not who you are, because see, they don't know who you are. They've already put in their mind. That's what I'm talking about. Like when the girl who was dressed really provocative, you know, in her mind, she was just, oh, I want attention.
mhm,
So what if he sees this? He might like it, but he ain't gonna get it. But the point is this, though. But that's how she saw it. But
mhm,
he saw it in a different way, and that's why I was talking about Eve. Is that we have to make those people who we want to be, people who we want to move in a direction where we can be true lovers.
mhm.
So if you want to move a person into a direction where we can be true lovers, I think that you have to make that man, or you have to make that woman, talk to you seriously.
Mhm.
See, and that takes time. But see, most of us don't have that time, because see, we get that feeling. See, when I was growing up, I talked to a lot of wine heads and stuff like that. And so when I was growing up, I understood that to have sex with a woman is that you had to be the one who controlled the experience. Because see, I was always taught that a woman always want to see something rise. They either want to make your temperature rise or that other thing rise. And so then therefore, if you were going to control your situation, you had to make sure that you did not allow them to control that.
Mm,
Even though in a sense that's very important. And see, that's why a smart woman, what she does is that then some women say, well, okay, you know how Kevin used to say, Kevin Samuels say, oh yeah, now she let the other guy have sex, and now they want me to spend more money to have sex and all that type of stuff. But
mhm.
see, that's why the whole point is this: is that it's all wrong. It's all wrong in the relationship today. Remember what I think it was what Chemistry Magic said, is getting on the telephone and talking. We
Yeah.
don't do that. We don't really talk. I mean, I spent so many dimes back in the day because I didn't want to talk to my mother on the telephone. So I'd go to the Walgreens. We had a Walgreens back then, and I'd go there and I'd put my money in the telephone, and we'd talk for hours. But I didn't want to talk about my mother and them, because we were talking what we wanted to talk. Like
Mhm.
like I'll admit that after we got married, my wife, she took all our love letters and burned them. I wonder why. But anyway, and so that's it. I mean, what do you think about that Eve, that people don't know you because they always want to picture who you are? What do you think about that? What about that?
I think that phenomena is that pedestalizing thing that people do because of how they meet you. I'm happy that a lot of people, their first thought about me is similar to things that you've just said. But like you said, people don't know me. If I were to talk about me, I don't know that that's how I would lead. But I think how people look at you will give you an idea of things that you might want to change or strengthen or maybe even cut out completely because you didn't know people were looking at you like that, like this provocative wear dress. She didn't know that he was going to be thinking that she's leading with sex, even though she's leading with sex. From there, if she's, yeah, I like to look good and you're not going to get any. Well, why would a man want to be with someone who's just going to tease him and other people all at the same time? We're all in the same category of not getting any, but I'm the one right next to you paying for things. It's not fair.
But in a way, that's why it's all messed up. It's all messed up. See, when Kevin and Duke and O'Shea Duke Jackson, see, these are people in a sense, they're in their 40s and 50s. Since they're in their 40s and 50s, they're full of shit. And I'm gonna tell you why they're full of shit. I'm gonna tell you why. They what they've done is that because of the fact in the sense that they didn't have the game to be able to get to know the women that they were dealing with. They didn't want to open up to those women that they were dealing with. And therefore, in a sense, now they're men who are not with women because they don't have a wife. And therefore, in a sense, they see every woman as somebody who's supposed to, in a sense, allow their vagina to be a receptacle for their sperm. You see, instead of in a sense realizing that it's not so much about her being a receptacle. That's what your wife is, but when you want to have every woman that is supposed to be like that, then you don't really get to know anybody. You see, right. JP said, "True love comes from God. You have to love God and have a relationship with God in order to love yourself. Then we can get into a relationship ordained by God. That's a different type of love. It is a different type of love because see, how many men think about this, Eve? Because see." My wife, we were both very strongly believed in God. That's one of the reasons why we believed in Black Power. And that's why we were ready to die. We would die for the people because we felt that God had a place for us to go. But there's so many men and some women, but there's so many men today that don't have love in God. And in fact, I used to hear a lot of those brothers when they be talking, they'll be saying that's kind of simpy to be in love with God. They feel in a sense that they're being smart because they're not in their feelings like what white man says. And so see, but the point is this is that, like she said, like JP said, is that if you love God and your mate loves God, then you two are going to want to be together. See, this is what it's all about. It's the partnership. Mm-hmm. See, it's two people that are apart who come together. See, that's what you have sex for. When you have sex, you have 7 openings on your body. See. When you have an orgasm, if you're lucky enough to have orgasms, but if you have an orgasm in a sense, when you have that explosion, you exchange genetic material. That's why a lot of times, in a sense, men and women who've been together for an extended period of time start to look alike, maybe think alike and things like that. Because see, you're sharing it. So when you're always having when you're having a lot of sex with different people, then therefore, in a sense, you're not getting the sacredness. And see, that's the problem today is that most of these old guys, because they're so warped, because of the fact in the sense that they didn't have any game and they didn't know how to really talk to women, they didn't know how to be a friend with a woman. See, it's hard. It's hard to be friends with anybody. Think about that.
Dr. Winters, what if those men know that the opening to y'all's heart is through communication, and at some point a woman used that against them? She talked to him, made him feel like he was the man. She's listening to him, and then nefarious things entail because she was not really there for him. And now he's jaded, and now he's going through life trying to use women as receptacles, like you said. But it all started from knowing that that's the way in. And
but see, you said something very important. See, you said that you were listening to him. And you were listening to their dreams, but did you make them tell you about who they were? Ooh. See, as I told you, it's easy for people to have bright ideas. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to start a business. I'm going to have this, and I'm going to do that. And after I start this business, see, that's not what you want to talk about. What you want to talk about, what makes you you? Why are you the you you are? You know, what happened when you was growing up? Anything happened? What is it that you didn't like when you was growing up? Why you didn't like that? See, you weren't questioning him. You was just listening to his dreams. You were being patient, but see, you wasn't asking him questions to make him have to, in a sense, let down his guard.
Right.
See, men are very guard. How you doing, Cyberdyne? I think 100. You know, So then the thing is, this is that you wasn't asking him about things that are important. Who made you who? What makes you the man you are? What made you, in a sense, become and do this? You see? And so then you're listening patiently. You're being very patient. And what you're doing is that you're getting head over heels because you think that you're getting to know this person. You're not getting to know him because he's only telling you what he wants to tell you.
Right.
What you want to do is you want to break. So you gotta break a man down. You got to break a man down. You got to make a man understand in a sense that who are you? Who am I to you? Mm-hmm. What do you want out of life? If all my life, if anybody in a sense asked me about my wife, I said, I want her, you see. And the point is this, is that's very important because see, the thing is this, as I told you, all my life when I was growing up, everybody saw me. And even to this day, everybody know Dr. Winters. Everybody know Barbara Winters. See, but I'm everything to everybody.
Right.
See? Everybody knows Eve. And see, Eve, oh, Eve is a person. I can do whatever I want to Eve. Oh, Eve, that's Eve. That's Eve. What are you talking about? Eve ain't got no damn feeling. She ain't got no feeling. Come on now. Now don't tell me that she got. You mean Eve can cry? What? Get out of here. She don't cry. She don't. She don't want to. She don't want to be held. She don't want to be. She don't want to be held. She don't want to be loved. She don't want to be caressed. No, we can just have sex. No. She don't want that no sex. She just want to be. I'll hold it when we're having sex. That's it. That's what they think because see, that you have to make people, and this is the thing that frightens men. This is the thing that scares men away. This is why love is a state of mind, because see, the thing is, this is that many women don't understand is that you set your own boundaries. You see, but because of the fact that we're afraid. We're always afraid that we're going to be rejected, and we want to be loved. I mean, it's very hard. Everybody wants to be loved. I didn't give a damn about being loved, but I'm a Sagittarius, and so Sagittarius.
Fire.
I'm a Sagittarius. Any word I say is going to come out sounding good. That's it. I'm a Sagittarius. You see, I remember when I was young, when I met girls, they say, "You're a Sagittarius. You cute, you handsome, but y'all don't never have no money." Nice meeting you, but I'm going over there. She was right. We never had it. But the point is this, though, is that if you want to make love more than a state of mind, if you want to make love more than a feeling, if you want to make love more than a word, I think what you have to do is you have to make people talk to you. Make them talk.
Yes.
You know, if one of your kids got in trouble, what did you do with that kid when he got in trouble, when he got home and the teacher told you that he messed up? What did you do with that kid?
Definitely had to start with a conversation, right? We need to figure out what happened. From there, most of the time with the minis, they know what actions are preceded by certain consequences. And at least I believe that initial conversation where we're all on the same page about what's about to happen, that needs to happen first. I've seen a lot of students, because I'm a teacher, I've seen a lot of students where they'll get in trouble in the morning and then there's supposed to be a consequence at night and the student has no idea why this huge consequence came later because they don't remember what happened in the morning. And to me, making sure that we're all on the same page about what's about to happen and why will hopefully make sure that you don't do this again. Or if you do, you know where it's going to be leading to.
And so then, but why don't women do that with the men that they meet? I'm not talking about being deep, but why don't when they meet a man and they like this man, they want this man to be a partner with them, why don't they have the nerve? Why don't they have the nerve to make that man have to tell them who they are? See, most of the time, as I told you, you already figured out a guy. Hey, that guy's a dapper guy. His shoes are clean. He dressed real sharp. Got nice shoes. He dressed real sharp. You know, he smelled good. Hey, that's a nice guy. Mm-hmm. But see, that's a surface image. That's an image that we develop. You know, just like when you meet a woman, she looks good. She's got a beautiful face. You know, she's got nice legs. You know, I mean, some people they like big butts. I'm not that type of guy. My wife, I like a nice shapely women, whatever. I like to look at pretty. I'm not going to tell a lie. I like to look at pretty women today. I can't touch you, and I might not touch you, but I love to look at pretty women. But the point is, this is that that's just the surface. But see, as long as we don't make that man or that woman really have to tell us who they really are. See, you have to move beyond. You have to move beyond, in a sense, what we see on the surface, because what we see on the surface, that's nothing. See, that's nothing. That's nothing. Most of the time, and it's sad, but I was like this too. Most of the time, you feel that if you really like somebody, you should have sex with them because you feel I like them, and so we're supposed to have sex. That's what we feel. But then sometimes, in a sense, you might have to say no. Why? I'm not going to have sex with that person. You see. So then that's why when Kevin Samuels was saying that why do this woman want more from me than she got from a baby daddy? Why can't she want more? See, that's the whole point. See, that's the whole point. You have to demand what you want. Jalen said Adam and Eve in the Bible, an interpretation of the masculine and feminine side of your brain that marry each other, which why we are able to work both sides. We can be nurtured and we can be protectors. Of course you can, but see, the whole point is that you've been taught a lie. That's the biggest lie. The story of Adam and Eve is the biggest lie.
Well, it starts off with her coming from him.
Right.
From there, you know how we're supposed to.
And see, and so then that shows you it's a lie. That shows you it's a lie. In Sumerian literature, in ancient literature, man was created from the woman's rib. Yes, because see, what came first, the chicken or the egg? I tell you what came first, the chicken, and then the chicken laid an egg. Therefore, the woman had to be first. So if you're basing, so many people they want to argue with me, and they want to say there's a word that the Bible is the word of God, the Quran is the word of God, all the holy books are the word of God. No, those are interpretations.
Right.
Those are historical things. See, but see, when a woman demands respect, I'm not saying you have to be saying, RESPECT. No, because look how many babies she had, and how many bad men she had. But see, she said a word, but she didn't really take it to heart. See, why can't you listen to me? Why can't you, as a woman, tell a man that this is who the hell I am? Take me or leave me, and mean it. Mean it. See, we don't. Go ahead.
I think that is an accountability moment that is terrifying for most people because they don't even like themselves, Dr. Winters. That self-love that they were taught in some form or fashion from mom, it's missing or it was overdeveloped. And from there, if you draw a line in the sand and you make somebody stand on it, well, now you might be alone. And you were out here campaigning and saying that you needed to be, with somebody else. That I think that women won't do that as a group because they weren't taught it. They were not taught how to stand on what is, as much as we can just move through life and feel how we want to feel. And it's okay, because I felt like that yesterday, and it's okay if I feel like this today, and you can't make me feel bad about it because I'm human. I'm a woman. I'm a feeling being.
But see, but there's nothing wrong with that. But even though you can feel this, you can feel that, then you still remember you have that standard. You see, when you see a Pookie over there and stuff, and you automatically can say, I don't want to be with that damn guy. But then when you can see that faker coming around, and he has everything you want as a faker, but he doesn't have everything you want, because you know why? You haven't investigated him. Mm-hmm. Yes, you've checked his Facebook page, his Instagram, or her Instagram, but you didn't really get into her mind.
Right.
See, remember, in a sense, that surface image is never who we are. See, you're not Eve of the Instagram. That's just Instagram. That's business. Mm-hmm. And you're doing business for the love of Black people. You're doing business for the love of the Black nation. And then people say, what nation? Well, anyway, you're doing business. Because you're doing business, then you want people, in a sense, to interact And so then you present a certain thing. But nobody wants to know who you are, and they don't need to know who you are. But that man or that woman who you choose to bring into your life, you have to make them let you know who they are.
Mm-hmm.
See, but if you're always letting them know who you are, but you never challenge them to make them to give of themselves, then what do you have? See, so all you had to do to make a man run away from you is start asking things like, oh, what did you grow up? What you didn't like growing up? What do you think made you who the man you are? Why do you think like that?
Mm-hmm.
See, he gonna run. He ain't coming back. And you know what? That's good. See, that's good because see,
it's a vetting process, right? You can
yes, but see, we don't have a vetting process because he's giving you that tingle or she's giving you that tingle.
Right.
So then you feel okay. We're gonna have sex, but then when after you have intercourse, remember the average man after you have intercourse, he don't even want to smoke a cigarette. He want to go to sleep, and you want to talk. What the hell is this? Damn, ain't I done yet? I mean, that's just the way people are.
No, that's real though. That's real. Making them talk about themselves and then having the ability to talk about your, that balance, I want to learn about you, but I need you to learn about me too. If you feel like they don't care, well, then maybe you don't even start offering things about yourself. But I think once that disconnect happens, then that's when you're supposed to probably consider if this is the relationship or partnership that you want to be in. But like you said, with the tingly, people are bypassing the vetting process and going straight for the tingly because we can interpret that very easily. And then all of this other stuff is so hard. Trying to figure out why someone acts a certain way might stem from a memory from something bad. You don't want to make them feel bad, but this is why that is. And you'll never know if you never ask them about it. But I like that we're diving here because Russell, he said, I think women are intrigued by a stoic man. And I think he's right. I think most men who are not talking a lot, there's women who want to know why. Why is he so quiet over there?
But they don't ask. They don't ever ask.
Because they don't want to know. They just want to be around that man who is so stoic and just so sure. People start talking because they don't like dead space. They don't like that dead noise.
He's right. Russell is right. I am a Virgo. These women force themselves on me. My second son, every girlfriend he had, he had sex with all their friends. They forced themselves on him. He wasn't a hoe. He was just a Virgo. You're right, Russell. You're right. Women, stop. Family, stop. Anybody see Russell? Stop those women from messing with him.
Russell said he is minding his business. He's not worried. Right. But no, that's real. Women like to talk. We like to talk about ourselves. And then if the man is halfway decent, then he'll know how to use that to make her feel like this is where she needs to be. From there, if he's only led with the surface things, then you're in a world of hurt once you start finding out some of the deeper things. I had a conversation with a friend of mine who was in an interracial relationship, and they didn't know that their partner didn't use washcloths because there wasn't a conversation that came up until they lived together. I'm like, okay, I guess maybe that's not a conversation you lead with. Like, did you wash your ass today? But maybe some conversations need to be held before we get to the tingly.
I think about that because I know that's what that tennis player lady said. I do not understand how can you take a shower without a towel. Now I'll admit when I played football and back in the day and after the game all the guys get in the shower and stuff. I never thought about it back then, but then my mom always taught me to have a washcloth, and it's interesting, but I heard that white people don't do that. Jay Lynn said, I also think you can get friend zoned by men too. You can. And see that, and that's the worst thing that you can do as a man, because once you become friend zone, don't be thinking you're going to have sex. And that, isn't that good sometimes? Because see, sometimes that can interfere with that. Sometimes that can interfere with a good relationship. Because the point is this: is that sex is sacred. Sex is sacred, even though we don't believe it's sacred anymore. And we've all done our thing out in the street or whatever. But see, sex is sacred. Sex, having sex can cause many problems. A lot of girls who are very free-hearted, they have chlamydia. And because they have chlamydia around, they can't get pregnant because they had so many different sperms and all that type of stuff. But the thing is this, is that it's complicated. And what I'm saying is that we had to move away from this whole idea that love is a state of mind. We had to move away from thinking that it has to be some mental thing, maybe the tingly or some other thing. And I think that we have to move away from this whole idea of thinking that because I think it's love, it's got to be love. But it's, what do we want out of love?
Right.
And I always had to come back. What do we want out of love? And see, that's what we have to think about. And I think that when you decide on what you want out of love, then therefore you're going to seek that from the person. I mean, don't you think you're going to seek it from the person that you're talking to?
That's true. That communication has to happen, because if we're out here trying to do something, or the 50-50 guys with the chicks who want to be stay-at-home wives, that conversation comes up a lot right now because of the environment and the economy. So women who want to live that soft life are leading with, I don't want to work, I want to stay home, I want to do this. And then they're having to find a man who can fulfill those needs. However, if we are approaching all of our relationships, man-woman relationship, your friendships, as what are we doing, then I think a lot of people will realize that they're wasting a lot of time because they're not really doing anything. And then the relationships that they could be working towards something are getting put on the back burner because of the time wasting. And the time wasting is because of a feeling. So now we're just being around people who make us feel good, but aren't pushing us to do anything.
But that's not really not really necessary, because see, I know a lot of women. I know a lot of women say this, is that they say that I don't want to work anymore, and they don't want to, and they say I want a man who can take care of me. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, these are the same women who every time you look up, there's a package in front of their door that's delivered by Amazon. And so then therefore, sometimes I think that a woman, in a sense, who really wants a lot out of life, they may have to work, you see.
Right.
Because see, it's just nowadays, like nowadays, in a sense, the average man makes, this is our government statistics, so they tell my white folks too. The average man makes $31,000 a year, And so then if he's making $31,000 a year, what is that? They say it takes $100,000 for a child. I had 6 kids, and I guarantee you that if it would have took $600,000, my kids wouldn't have matured and grown, And I remember I was out of work, and I told my wife, I said, well, hell, I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna leave, and that way you can go and get aid and stuff like that. So I said, so I'm gonna leave. She said, no, you're not leaving. If you leave, I'm going with you. So a couple of times I woke up in the middle of the night to try to sneak out. Next thing she was down the step. Where are we going? I said, damn, you're supposed to stay here. Get the food stamps. Take care of the kids. I'm going. Because I mean, in the 70s and 80s, that's what it was all about. Mm-hmm. Running the black man out the house, but she wanted to follow me. Get the hell out of here. I don't want you following me. I'm going to live on the street. But the point is this, what I'm saying is this, is that it's very difficult. It's very difficult because see, I think she could do that with me because she knew me. And I think that most of the time we don't have time to get to know each other. It's scary. It's scary. I'm going to tell you something.
Somebody in the chat said it about the phone calls. You'd be on the phone for hours.
Yeah.
Hours. And that it's missing because people have social media. So now I can just scroll through your page and never have to talk to you. And I can just glean what I want and make this picture of Dr. Winters. And that's what I love.
Yeah.
In the event we talk, I've already I already feel for you, and you never had to say anything to me,
True,
which
and
is
that's true.
kind of strange that
Like
we're
Karen
in
Vincent.
relationships
Karen
off.
Vincent said, if you say something negative about the women who wear the type of clothing, the women are mostly the ones who call you names. Of course they do. But the point is this, is that we have a disconnect. You see, a lot of times we say we don't like women wear makeup, but then we want a woman with lipsticks on so we can kiss it off. Then we say we don't like women wearing wigs, but then we'll like that woman who's wearing a wig. So we're full of shit. And see, because of the fact in the sense that people are complicated, people are very complicated, and we don't really get to know each other, and it's kind of very hard. And I think that as long as we don't understand that love cannot be the be all of everything. It has to be, in a sense, measured. And the only way that you can really have a real partnership is for two people to communicate with each other, for two people to talk to each other, for two people, in a sense, to try to get an understanding. I remember back in the day when I was younger, and I used to talk to some brothers, Hebrew Israelite brother, and so then we would talk about this and talk about that, and then I was a Muslim back then, and so we would talk, but we always found some common ground. And then by the time we wouldn't get into arguments because we could find common ground. And see, that's the whole point today, and that's why a really smart woman is going to make that man communicate with her, make that man talk to her, make that man share. See, because as long as a guy doesn't have to share anything but his sperm, then therefore, in a sense, how can you build a strong relationship? See, and so then women are always spending their time saying, "I'm trying to figure out a man." I still don't I still don't know how the hell my wife thought. I don't know what the hell she thought. I don't know what the hell she thought. See?
Does it matter? I mean, I guess it might matter.
Yes, it matters.
Here's why I asked.
Go ahead.
If she's treating you how you want to be treated, and things are how you want things to be, she's providing the children and taking care of the home. Now, her thoughts might go all over the place, but
I'm
what
nosy.
is she doing?
I'm nosy. I'm nosy.
This is something that I'm dealing with right now because my thoughts are scattered a lot of times, or I have a bunch of different thoughts. But what am I doing? I try to focus on what's in front of me. Can I accomplish this task right here? And then can I accomplish the next task? And then try to every step, every day at a time.
Beautiful. That's beautiful.
It's a work in progress because you have to really sit and think about everything. So as scattered as my thoughts are, I have to put them in place and then try to attack them. But I don't know if you need to know all of those thoughts, because what if they're not productive and I need to process and
I don't give a damn. I don't give a damn. And you're not going to tell me anyway. See, because that's the whole thing. And that's what makes a woman mysterious, is that there's always something about her that you want to know. And see, the thing is this, is that as in fact, in a sense, is that you always want to see this, because you're in a battle, and your battle is that who are you? Who are you? See, and that see when I was young, I said, how hard can a woman love you? Because see, I didn't see my grandma loving my grandfather. He was gone. He was dead. I never met my grandfather. Mm-hmm. My mother, in a sense, yeah, she acted like she loved my father, but she was always mad and always arguing at him and stuff like that. So I want to see how much love a woman can see. The average man do not know how much love a woman can give him. I'm not talking about sex, because I mean anybody can perform sex, you see, but I'm talking about how much can your woman give you in terms of her. Do you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And see, the only way in the sense that I can get something really from, the only way that a man who's with a woman can get something from her is to allow her to be her. And so that's why, no, you're not going to tell them every thought, but his thoughts might be mumbled and jumbled too. But see, the point is that when you're trying to share, you see, the thing that I miss most about my wife what I miss most about my wife is that it's those midnight hours, those times we might just talk. And see that's the whole thing that's very hard. And that's the whole thing that the average woman doesn't feel that she should demand anything from a man. Okay, we're having good sex. It was okay, but we're having good sex. Now let's talk. And he said, "Damn, we hadn't had good sex. I want to go to sleep." But see, but the point is this is that when you try to invade a person's mind, when you're trying to invade a person's mind, and when they can share a little bit of who they are, like my wife before she died, she said, "Clyde, she was very empathic. She could talk to her guides, all that type of shit." And she said, "Clyde, right now, she said, right now we're in Italy, and she said, I'm your mistress, and I work for you." I said, "Well, I wish I was him. He's younger than me. I'll take his place." And so then, see, I was thinking today. People are always talking about reincarnation. No, it's not reincarnation. It's incarnation. In other words, just like Eve, you're sitting here, but there's another Eve somewhere else, maybe. Plus, there's the Eve who's in heaven. Mm-hmm. And so then, therefore, in a sense, when you think about it in that way, then you understand is that what is this all about? They say we're here to learn. We're not here to learn. We're here to play a role. That's why if you read the Bible, at the end of the Bible it says, "And God closed up the book." That means that we're playing roles. And I don't believe that everybody would go back to heaven and then come back down here. I wouldn't come back.
If you had a choice.
Hell no, I wouldn't come back. I've had some. Yes,
isn't that the running joke though? Most of the time when people come back, it's like, what am I doing back here again? And then you have to go through all of those growing pains because you didn't learn the lesson the first time. It's Groundhog.
No, you never learned the lesson. See, that's a lie. That was the biggest lie my mother told me. My mother told me that hardships make you strong. Hardship doesn't make you strong. You just get through it.
Mm.
Think about the hard times that you've had, Eve. You just went through it.
That's true. That's true.
It was too hard. It was too hard, but you went through it. You see, and that's the same thing. It's just like I used to be in the hospital. My wife, when she would be having the babies, and all these women would be around. "Oh, you dirty motherfucker! Oh, you're not damn good." And my wife, she'd be like there, like a frontier woman. "Yeah, well, it'll be coming soon." Bam. But that was the whole point. But see, the thing is that as you want your partner to care about you, and the only way your partner can care about you is if you have something on him. Mm. Not that you have something on him that's going to make him, in a sense, feel weak or that you can blackmail him, but you want to have something on him that allows him to want to share with you, all of him.
Right.
All of them. See, and that was the thing. Yeah, I knew my wife would never tell me all of her thoughts and stuff like that. And like when every day before I went to work, my wife, she decided she didn't want to cook anymore. So I cooked breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I would go to work. I kissed her every day, and I told her every day I loved her. And then my daughter told me, she said, "Now maybe mama think you love. Now maybe mama think you love her." I said, "What the fuck is this? What is this?" "Oh, well, mama didn't think you didn't love her because you was always doing this, you was always doing that." I said, "That doesn't matter." See, and so that's the thing. See, that's the thing that a black man has to understand is that as a black woman, you have so much love to give, but you're always waiting for your man to leave you. You see. You're always waiting for your man to leave you because daddy left your mama or daddy wasn't with mama totally. What I mean by that is that daddy man came home, but then Friday night daddy was gone or whatever. And so see, it's this intimacy. And how do you gain intimacy? Do you gain intimacy? We go back to what you said earlier, Eve. We gave intimacy to, communication. And the whole key is communication. Just like I heard somebody, that's like I hear people say, "Yeah, I like to argue, then we have sex." I don't know who you are. Most of the women I know, if you get in an argument with them, you're gonna sleep.
That's it. The feeling is gone.
I like a good argument because we're gonna have good sex. No, you're gonna sleep on the damn couch. My son told me that when his wife tells him to sleep on the couch, I don't care if you're mad at me, I'm still sleeping in the damn bed. You just turn the other way. Say, hey, you're bad. You're bad.
As his bed. Can't kick him out. What?
Well, they're both there. Then later you get over it, move on. You see,
Yeah.
but the point is this: is that it's trying to get a connection,
Mm-hmm.
and see, we're talking about a love connection. But remember, one of the definitions of love is what? Sexual attraction. One of the definitions of love is having sex. But is that enough for you? Hell no, it's not enough for you.
Right.
You want more from your man. You want more from your woman. You want you two to be able to have a relationship where you can communicate. See, because you don't want love to be just a cheat of mine. You don't want to, in a sense. You don't want to, in a sense, be like Amir. Like you said, I cheated and learned. I'm no juggling circus act. That's true. See, because see, every woman. I mean, hell, if every come on, let's face it. Let's face it. If your woman wanted to have as much sex as she want to have, you would never be able to go to work. Look at the lions. Like lions, they're a good example. As long as that male lion can perform, he's okay when he can't perform. Hey, those women, they push his ass away. Get out of here.
But that's a really good point. I was thinking about that before you talked about the lions. If sex didn't if if love via sex wasn't supposed to go anywhere, then there wouldn't be a baby. Like,
Yeah,
and not that there's always a baby, but the act is supposed to make a baby,
yeah.
essentially. And I think what you're talking about, if the rest of it wasn't there, then maybe we could use sex more frivolously as a
We do.
but right
We
now,
do use sex frivolously.
well, right, I'm saying we if we were more considerate about the act producing more, what are we here for? It's because we're about to produce something versus people who are saying, well, I just like it because it feels good, and a lot of abortions have happened because it felt good. So, the conversation about what are we doing here when it's the math is 1+1 is three of us here.
True.
So, well, the lionesses might have an
Well,
answer.
well, the thing is this: is that if your baby's okay, our babies are two years apart, 2-3 years apart. You had to use some sort of a prophylactic or something, so you didn't get pregnant. But the
Right.
point is this: is that so you can't think of having intercourse as just something to have babies. But at the same time, in a sense, you have to also remember that there may be a consequence to that
Right.
behavior. See, but the main thing is it's not so much the consequence. The main thing is trying to become like this, and
Mhm.
this takes conversation. It doesn't take having sex. It doesn't take having orgasms. It
Right.
doesn't take, in a sense, having some sort of a sexual emotion, because once so you get what you get maybe 500 eggs. By the time you get in your by the time you get in your late 40s, early 50s, those eggs stop dropping. Once those eggs stop dropping, well, I mean, hey, you don't want to have sex hardly. And then it's just so if your relationship is just built on sex,
Right.
once those eggs stop dropping, she's not going to want to have sex. She might say, okay, go ahead, do what you want to do, whatever. Just I want to go to sleep. But the point is this: is that that's what married people do. And so then, but the thing is this: is that if that's your only recourse, then there's nothing there. So
Mhm.
so the thing, what did God say in the Bible? What does it say in Genesis? In the beginning, there was the Word. See,
Right.
and so then, therefore, to have a really close relationship, to be able to make love more than a state of mind, is that you had to be able to what? You had to communicate, and that's the scary thing, and that's what we run away from.
For sure. I I remember having to ask permission, to use the phone before I could call a boy's house. Or if a boy called my house, they had to ask for permission to speak to me. We're now having a conversation between how I'm even able to talk on the phone to this person I'm about to spend hours on the phone with. And now Our oldest has a phone, and we're having to teach her that there's boundaries, like we were talking about earlier, because there is no house phone. So while they might want to have these conversations for hours and hours at a time, it's not necessarily the time or place for the conversation. We have to put it on pause. Maybe you have that conversation over the weekend. It's a school night. We're having to put certain things in place to make sure that it's a healthy whatever it is that she's developing with these boys who want to talk to her on the
You
phone.
hope. You hope. You
It's
hope.
We'll see. Time will tell.
Yeah, time will tell. Because
but
my go ahead.
Okay. Go ahead.
My granddaughter, when she was in 7th grade, we would have the grandkids over the weekend. And so she was in 7th grade. She was talking to her other cousins, because I had some granddaughters and they were talking. And my daughter heard my granddaughter talking about how at her school, at a Catholic school, they was all talking about how to have oral sex, and that was the thing. That was a popular thing in the school. And so but the thing is, that's because my daughter was dipping and listening. But the thing is, so you have to give your child an understanding of life. You don't have to tell them everything. Like my sons, I'll admit, when my sons got a certain age, I said, well, you got to get a Propelastic and put it in your wallet. I don't have a wallet, Pops, will buy one.
Right.
And so, because I said, I don't want you to have any children out of wedlock. What do you mean? I said, this is it. I don't want you to have any children out of wedlock, because if you have children out of wedlock, that girl who has the baby may not allow me to see that child. And we want to see our grandkids. So please don't have a baby out of wedlock, you see. And my sons did that, all except for one. But I mean, what can you say? You know what I'm talking about, because I know you'll listen to this ish. But the thing is that's life. But see, that's the whole point. I remember when I was teaching at Governor State, and I taught educational psychology. And so then I taught education. I taught a lot of ish. And so then what I found is that a lot of people, parents feel guilty, because parents feel that they teach their kids this and they teach their kids that, and then the kids are their own way. And so what I used to try to get my students to understand is that kids are going to do the wrong thing. So parents shouldn't want to punish themselves, because you relay information, you relay knowledge to kids, but that's just it. Like common law, we get complacent. Chemistry, black magic, you're true. Because see, I knew when I asked my wife to marry me, I knew I didn't have to get married, because I had game. I know I didn't have to get married. You see,
He's got it.
Yeah, I didn't have to get married, but the point is this: I married her because I wanted to give her something more. Because it was paper, and because it was paper, it was legit. Yeah, my mother had to sign for me to get married. But the point is this: back then you couldn't get married if you were not 21 as a man, but she could get married when she got 18. So my mom had to come down and sign the paper. I thank my mom for that. She said, "Nigga, you owe me money." Yes, sir. Yes. But the thing is that so it's so easy, because see, if somebody care about you, that's the way it is. But we had to move into a different direction. And so that's what I'm saying, is that love is a state of mind, because I love you today, I'm gone tomorrow. But the point is this, is that when you think in terms of another word for that relationship, for people coming together. How you doing, Tone 5? And so it's just different things that we run into. And again, it's we've been going 2 hours, so I guess we'll have to, we'll kind of close it, but the thing is this, is that I believe that love is a state of mind, but love can be more. But I think that we have to respect each other, and we have to make each other share who we are, because we're always, in a sense, we're always trying to we're always trying, in a sense, to try to make things the way we want it to be. And the only way we can make things the way they are is to listen to people, make them talk to us, and make them have to, in a sense, be who they are. Amir says, "I love Virgo. I have no game. They pull me out of the house." Yeah, that's cool, because I mean, hey, Virgos are fun, but the point is this is that I'm just my wife used to say I generalize. I try not to generalize now, so I don't want to say that everybody is this or that way. But what I do know is this is that how you doing, Gerard? Gerard. What I do know is this is that we have to share each other and we have to get a meeting of the minds. Did you want to say something? Any final comments?
For sure. I love this conversation. You're making me think about things in a way that I haven't in a while. Scattered thoughts. That's, I guess, a consequence of those scattered thoughts. But I think that the partnership that we've been talking about all night, or at least making our love definition for people mean something more than just a feeling that we felt yesterday or something that we're chasing, I think that can produce more meaningful relationships. And then when we're asking if love is a state of mind, maybe it's a state of being, because when you're with someone that you love, well, now you guys are acting together and we're working together, and it's just how you guys are. And then people will see what you've been doing and maybe they would learn how to love as an example from you. So
why did you say that? Why did you say that? That was deep. You when you said that love is a state of being, that is deep. That's very deep. That because see that counteracts what I said, that love is a state of mind, because you're saying in a sense that it's a feeling, it's a way of being. Wow, that's deep. Why you do that? Now you got me thinking.
Well, it's mutual exchange. I'm very much appreciative of this conversation, because I think the generational divide that's already out here, nobody wants us working with each other, but how are y'all supposed to pass us the game or the playbook if we don't listen to you? And then as an educator, I think that I'm always supposed to be learning, and I feel like maybe you have similar thought there, and we can keep having these conversations.
Oh, we will. And she's absolutely correct. Next week, I want you guys to join us next Wednesday, same time, same place. And we're going to try to have another interesting conversation. I hope you enjoyed this. I thank all the people in the chat, because you guys are giving us ideas. You're making us think about things. Like Gerard said, is that thank God created us where we can't read every thought. And so we should be turned off and away. Things left up to curiosity and imagination. He's so right.
That was that seduction we were talking about, whether it's the woman who wants to know about that stoic man, or the man who wants to know about the woman who's leaving it up to, the shadows and the silhouettes. Everything doesn't have to be so in your face, and you don't have to be so loud to make someone want to know more. So I like that comment.
Yeah, my chemistry like magic. This is true. Some people are so damaged you can't help. You got to work on you. That's true. But the point is this, is that sometimes, like I told you when I was younger, and when I was thinking about tackling people, and when I tackle people, I thought about my mother, and I thought my mother didn't love me. But by me talking with my wife, she was just my girlfriend then. But by us bringing our brains together, by us in a sense talking, she made me realize. See, that's one. I'm a cognitivist. As an educational psychologist, as a psychologist, I'm a cognitivist. And what a cognitivist does is that you want to make people think. See, and when you make people think, a lot of times that can help them to be better because they're thinking. You see.
Right.
And so when you say, Eve, that your thoughts are all mixed up, it's not always that they're mixed up. It's just in the sense that you try to find truth. And how do you find truth? You find truth as an individual by going and using your knowledge and using your perceptions to be able to interpret the real. Right. But again, next week we'll have another topic. I'll let you know by at least Monday. But Eve is going to be here with me. Thank you, Eve.
Right. Thank you. Thank y'all.
Thank you for sharing this time with me and the time with you guys. Because see, you make us who we are. See, because I'm learning. You see, just like tonight, I gotta get a new thing that love is a state of being and not just a state of mind. Eve, Eve, you knocked me out.
Hey.
Anyway, family, thank you.
Bye.